Orcs Must Die, Deathtrap, made by Robot Entertainment, coming out Q1 2025. Dave, have you ever played the Orcs Must Die game?
I have not, but you know what this reminds me of? Do you know when you were a kid and you would spend hours just like setting up a bunch of little toys, and then in like 30 seconds you would like start playing and just destroy everything?
That kind of, yeah, I can kind of see that. It also kind of reminds me of Small Soldiers, the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of how they kind of, it's the soldiers versus the, or what are they? There's some species like and anyway, but
Yeah, like the alien robot. Yeah, the alien guys.
yeah, exactly. But I honestly had never heard of Orcs Must Die until I saw the trailer for this. And I'm very sad that I haven't, because it looks so fun, which is why I decided to buy the third one with all the DLC today. And I put tons of hours into it already. Like, I think I have 10 hours. No, not that many. Like 8 hours just today of just pure shooting orcs and setting traps and all this good stuff.
Adam is already a pro.
Already a pro. But I want to go into the history of the game a little bit. So did you know how popular this game is, Dave?
I knew it was popular, but honestly, like when I was like doing my research, I was surprised at just how popular it was.
12 million players throughout the franchise.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
That's a lot.
That's crazy. I had no idea. It's a game that originally came out in 2011 too.
Is there a mobile version of this game?
I don't know. I was actually curious about that. I didn't look it up. I don't think so, because like the recap of the history I read didn't say anything about a mobile game.
I couldn't find a mobile version of the game, but like when numbers start getting that high for a franchise that you're like, not that you don't know about, but you just wouldn't expect it from, like it just feels like it's because there's a mobile version that mad people downloaded.
That's not the case for this game. At least I don't think so. I didn't see anything on it. It looked like, it's just funny to see such a, I don't want to say simple concept, because it's very similar to, I thought the what was it, Infinity Siege? Remember that game I played?
Yeah.
And I did a review on it. I thought like that was the first of its kind, doing tower defense and being able to shoot in the action. No, it seems like this game is more of the first of its kind like that, because it's a tower defense game that you are in the action in third person. You can play as different characters, but history of the game a little bit. So the first one came out in 2011, very basic, and it was basically, again, just shoot orcs, not very much going on, traps. You get to play as a third person character in the action. Orcs Must Die 2 came out a year later and introduced co-op and had more to offer in terms of weapons and levels and all that good stuff. And then after that, in 2017, they released a PvP game, and which had new heroes. It came out in 2017. I think I already said that. It's called Orcs Must Die Unchained. More characters, more gameplay, but it kind of flopped. Nobody really liked it. And the developers had come out and said, oh, we wish it would have done better, but it was kind of a risk that we thought was going to go well, but it wasn't received as well. So that was kind of disappointing for them.
It's a weird concept.
Definitely is.
Doesn't feel like a PvP situation.
No, it definitely does not. Or at least not a main focus.
I just don't want to I don't want to say that these characters aren't memorable and that the combat system doesn't I don't know. I guess I want to say it. These characters are just like, they're cool, but they're not like, I don't know. There's not like a lot of connection to them really. And the combat system just really doesn't like lead itself to a PvP situation.
And no, and honestly, 2017, think about all the big PvP games out that like recently come out. You have Overwatch, you have, I think Fortnite was getting big at that point. Like these games like were blowing up at this point. And so for Orcs Must Die Unchained, for a game that probably many people haven't even heard of, like it just didn't make sense. And that's okay. Like they tried, and obviously they had tons of success from the other games, and which is why they're still releasing them. But 2020 comes around, and that is when Orcs Must Die 3 comes out, and their whole idea of this is just get back to basics and introduce different war sessions and different game modes that really are true to the game. And that's pretty cool that they did that. They're like, okay, we made a mistake. Let's get back to the basics. And now, fast forward to 2025, here in the future, Orcs Must Die Deathtrap is coming out, and I'm excited about this one. I'm gonna roll the trailer.
Yeah, go ahead and roll the trailer. I do have some questions.
Yeah.
And I think my major question was, I don't want to say that I had a hard time, but I didn't. I don't. I'm trying to say this in a way that's not going to piss people off. I didn't see a lot of new innovation to this one.
I think
Does
it's.
that does that is that
I
a
think
nice way of saying it?
I don't want to. I think this is because it's a cinematic and it's the announcement trailer, so they don't have it showing out yet. But
Yeah.
overall, I think based off of playing the game and the things I've read on it, it's going to be a lot different in terms of like the feel of the game and things like that. But overall, they want to still stay true to the what they are and things like that. But essentially, what's changing big in this game, kind of going into that. Number one is they're going to have 4-player co-op instead of 2. So you'll
Okay.
be able to play with more players, which is really cool. And granted, I don't always play with friends. I played alone today by myself, but it's just cool to have that option. And then the difficulty will be scaled based off of how many people are playing with you. So you can play solo, 2 people, all the way up to 4. And I think that's really cool. I think that they're expanding in the sense that they can bring more people in to play the game, if that makes sense. They're bringing in new heroes, so 6 War Mages. That's the different characters, like that's what they're called. And with this one, they'll each have their own weapons and abilities. Each will have their own unique character traits. But one thing that they're adding that isn't in the previous games is each character will have its own exclusive trap. Like so, like their skill will be they will have an exclusive trap, and I thought that was kind of cool. Like it's a unique ability that it's a trap that you can use specifically with that character.
I wish I had more information on it because I was literally just like looking and I'm like trying to find something where I'm like, oh, that's kind of innovative and new from the last game. And
I think the co-op itself is.
I don't want to make people mad today, but I just couldn't find anything super innovative from the last game. And
I think the co-op is pretty innovative. They're bringing it so more people can play together. They're changing the game mode, so it's gonna be the same in terms of like there's different levels. You have to stop the orcs, but they're making it roguelite now, so they're having roguelite elements, which the previous ones don't have that at all. Like there's no roguelite elements, so that's new. They're also expanding the progression, so not only can you level up your traps and your weapons, you can also level up your characters, and they each have their own skill tree, which is not like that in any of these other ones. The one cool thing I didn't notice this in the hours I played today, but they're having environmental conditions that will alter the interactions of the world as well. So and like affect your traps and the way things happen as well. So I thought that was really cool. The game is also stated to improve combat. So I will say like there's some I don't want to say definitely some clunkiness or glitchiness with some of the gameplay mechanics. But what their focus on this game and this go around is it's going to be more tight and responsive, if that makes sense. Like it's gonna feel more controlled because there's a couple times where I'm like chasing these orcs and like the way my character moves to like turn around is like very slow. Like it's not just like a flip a turn. Granted, I was using my controller, not a mouse. I bet it'd be a lot different if I did that. The melee combat, they have come out and said like they've never been proud of their melee combat aspect of the game, and so they're putting a lot of focus in that. So really expand on that. And then one thing, the physics of the game are not very good. So when like an orc dies, they just kind of die. There's nothing really about it. But they kind of just like disappear. Where this one, they're making it physics based. The traps are going to be physics based. The animations of their deaths are going to be like ragdoll physics based. And I think that's really cool. I think they're just expanding on the foundation and what made the game so good. And it's just like tightening it up, if that makes sense.
you said you put about 10 hours into Orcs.
6 to 8. I don't know for sure. I haven't looked. I kind of just got lost playing.
All right, well, I mean, Adam's put in a couple hours. What are some things that you would like to see in this next installment after your time with the previous installment that haven't really been kind of talked about yet?
Well, I mean, I know I just kind of rambled off a few things. It's hard for me to completely say, but again, going back to some of that glitchiness of the movement, like that was it's kind of off-putting, some of the like the controls with it. the I don't know, and I don't really have much to say because I'm so new into it, but the some of the traps, like, they didn't have a good, like, reason of why I need those traps either. Like, I felt like I was doing fine with just a bunch of spike traps. So, granted, very early on, so maybe I'm just not to the hard hordes of the orcs yet, or maybe I'm not on a hard enough difficulty where I should be using more than the spike traps, but that's basically all I used is just a bunch of spike traps and I would do just fine. Um I again I think the combat could definitely be more like reworked to be more smooth. But that's kind of again, I'm very new into it, so I don't have like a huge opinion on it yet, except for I'm excited for this one.
I wish I had like
If you're not excited about it, you just gotta say how I'm not excited about this one, or this game isn't intriguing to me. Like that's the
I'm not excited about it. I'm just I don't know how long do you think that you're gonna play this game before you're kind of over it?
oh a lot.
You think a lot?
Yeah, I'm ready to jump back in like right now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
it's
I
just
love
me.
these types of games, and that's like when I played Outpost Infinity Siege. I put 30 hours into that game. Well, granted, because it was slow moving, and I just wanted to see how things went. But I love the idea of that kind of tower defense game, and that's the same way with this game. I'm gonna put a ton of hours in this game. It's got a story mode. I don't know. Yeah, I'm guessing it's gonna have a story mode with the roguelike elements as well. But and that's kind of what I'm pushing through. It's got a story. I'm gonna push through at least all the levels, and there's different game modes that I'll be able to try, and hopefully I can convince a couple of my friends to play it, and it's just gonna hold my attention for a while. And these games aren't expensive. Like I just bought this one. I don't know how much they are not on sale, but I bought the DLC and everything for $8. Like the full game DLC for $8.
Yeah, no, not super expensive. I don't know. I just like I love tower defense. Don't get me wrong. I love tower defense. I find myself just like I don't know. I just find myself losing it faster. You know what I mean?
Are you saying like in tower defense in general, like you can't play them very long, or this one specifically?
I just like the interest level like in the beginning is like all time high when I play tower defense, and then most like with most games my interest level like if I'm into it my interest level is super high and then it starts to wane, right? My interest level with tower defense games, I don't know for whatever reason, it's just like all time high and then it falls off a freaking cliff. Like I'm just like it just gets to the point where it's so grindy and like just so repetitive that I'm just like this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome. I'm never touching this again.
I mean, yeah, I guess. And that's kind of the same argument you have with playing Call of Duty and first person shooter like games like that. It's always the same. But for me, like those games can hold my attention forever because I just want to get better, go farther, you know what I mean? It's like World at War Zombies. Like I just want to push it as far as I can, push it to the limits, and that's kind of how I like to play my games. It's like, what can I do to keep getting better? And I mean, that's for you with Dark Souls. Like, I die like 3 times. Like, okay, I'm done. Like, I want to beat something because I've put like I don't know. Like, it's different. Like, that's how I feel about Dark Souls. I don't want to die to the same thing 30 times. I'd rather die to this level that's so hard and I'm so close to beating, and then I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
I think we've just like come to a very respectful place of like knowing which games each of us likes. Yeah, I mean, the game looks fun. It does. It looks like a lot of fun. You know, the one thing that I did see is you know exactly what Adam talked about. People are kind of hoping that they really do kind of fix the physics on this game and the combat system because I'm not gonna lie, from you know what I've seen of past games and from you know comments of you know videos on last games and stuff like that, it's a little janky and it needs some work. So I mean, hopefully they get it done. But I don't know. Just for me, tower defense is like it's so fun. I'm like it's so fun. It's so fun. It's so fun until it's not. And I don't know. I could be totally alone on this, but you know, it just for whatever reason, it gets to the point where it just falls off a cliff for me.
I think that, and that's just the games that you like to play. Like, I love the progression. I love the leveling up of characters. I love the leveling up of the items around, the how far can I push this run, things like that. I love that part of games, and I'm just gonna love it just as much with this one. And I think I can convince one of my good friends to play this one. I think this is one he'd be interested in. And Orcs Must Die 3 has a character with a bow and arrow. And that's all I've been using. It's a bow and arrow. That's all I need.
That's all you gotta do. Just include a character with a bow and arrow, and Adam's gonna be set.
Maybe that's why I love the game, is because it's got a bow and arrow. But no, I really enjoy the game. I'm excited for this one. I just honestly wish it'd be out already. This is a game that I'm highly anticipating now that I know what Orcs Must Die are. And Orcs Must Die 3 is going to have a lot of hours by the time 25 or this Deathtrap one comes out.
Thoroughly surprised at the player base of this game. I was thoroughly surprised that there's so many people. And honestly, it shows in the trailers and everything like that. The comments are full of people super excited for this game. So yeah, I'm so happy you guys are getting this game.
One thing I want to say is it reminds me of the kind of game that like Plants vs. Zombies is. It's a game that you look at and it's like, how is this game good, or how is this game popular? And I think it's because one, it's relatively like inexpensive to play. Like, you know what I mean? It's a pretty cheap game. And two, like it's so simple in the fact that they're not trying to be like this groundbreaking game. They're trying to adhere to a specific audience, like me with this game. And I think that's why this game's going to do so well with the player base that's already formed. And then players like me, like, oh, I've never heard of this game. Looks fun. I'm going to give it a good, solid shot and only spend $20, $30. You know what I mean? I think that's why this game is so successful.
I mean, it's a brilliant formula. I mean, this is a mobile formula. You know what I mean? That's kind of why I thought that there was a mobile version of this game to get that high of a player base. But I mean, yeah, it's a great form. I don't want to say it's a simple game, but it's something that can be duplicated fairly easy. And like you brought up, the price point of the game, it makes it accessible to people around the world. You know what I mean? We kind of look at things as just like, you know, obviously we're in the United States. So we kind of look at stuff on like a United States level, right? But if you look at like, you know, if you look at other countries, like $70 or $70 US in some countries is like, that's never happening. Like nobody is paying $70 US for a game. You know what I mean? Yeah, especially like this. So like, you know, it gives it the accessibility. It makes sense why the player base is super high. I'm excited. People are excited for it. I really am. It's unfortunately not going to be one that's on my radar. I mean, maybe based on cost, if Adam, absolutely loves it, I might grab it. I might grab it just to kind of hang out with Adam and jam out for a little bit. So yeah, I'm excited that you guys are excited for it. Just for me,
not for you.
Might pass on it.
Double thumbs up for me. I'm excited about this one. But let us know in the comments below. Is this a game that you're excited about? Have you played the ones in the past? And yeah, I'd like to know.